During the French Revolution, a nobleman was arrested, accused of speaking against the uprising. He was thrown into a cold stone cell. No trial, no explanation, just darkness. Waiting. Silence. Every single day he was told, tomorrow, the guillotine. And every single morning, he woke up alive. But the fear never left. He couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. He paced. His mind raced. He imagined the worst. Until something strange happened. One day, he found a small piece of burnt wood from the torch the guard had used. Just a bit of charcoal. Nothing useful, really. Except, he took it and he drew a chessboard on the wall. And with no one else to play with, he began playing against himself. Every day. Every night. Opening moves, strategic traps, famous plays from memory, total focus. And something inside him shifted. For the first time in weeks, the noise in his mind quieted. He wasn't imagining the guillotine. He wasn't projecting into the next day. He wasn't obsessing over things he couldn't control. He was just here, with the wall, with the game, with himself. Years passed. Eventually, he was released. The charges were forgotten. But when they asked him how he survived those years with his sanity intact, he simply said, "I stopped imagining what hadn't happened. I stopped letting fear live in my mind rent-free. I never knew peace until I stopped resisting the uncertainty." This story, it's not about prison. It's about you. What if something goes wrong? What if I fail? What if I lose them? What if I never figure it out? And just like that prisoner, your body's in one place, but your mind is everywhere else. You're not living your life. You're anticipating it. You're pre-playing every worst-case scenario before it even happens. But here's the truth no one tells you. Worry isn't reality. It's imagination hijacked by fear. It's not a signal from life. It's a loop inside the mind. A habit of projecting pain onto the future before it even arrives. Alan Watts talked about this too. The reason you suffer from anxiety is because you identify with the voice in your head. But that voice? It's not telling you facts. It's not showing you reality. It's showing you a version of reality based on past wounds, trauma, and emotional memory. And when you believe that voice, you give it power, you feed the fear. You hand over your calm in exchange for a story that hasn't even happened. Think about that. Most of what you've worried about in your life never even happened. And the things that did happen? Worry didn't prepare you. It just exhausted you. So what's the point? The prisoner in the cell found freedom not in escape, but in presence. He stopped resisting uncertainty. He stopped obsessing over timelines he didn't control. He found peace in now, and so can you. That's why this video isn't about convincing you to stop worrying with some fake confidence or forced mindset. It's about showing you that worry was never real to begin with. It's a shadow you projected, a story you inherited, a lie that felt safe because it kept you busy. But you're done being busy. You're done letting your peace be hijacked by thoughts that don't serve you. And you don't need to fix anything. You just need to see it. That worry is not a truth. It's a habit. It lives in your thoughts, not in your actual life. And the moment you really see that, the loop begins to break. Not with force, not with effort, but with presence. If you've made it this far, it probably means you know that feeling too well. That feeling of sitting in your room, maybe on your bed or staring at the ceiling, and your heart's racing. But there's nothing actually wrong. There's no emergency, no threat, no one knocking at your door. And yet, your chest is tight, your mind's running, and you can't breathe fully. And that's when it hits you. You're not reacting to life. You're reacting to your thoughts about life. That voice in your head, it sounds like you. It remembers your past. It knows exactly what to say to make you spiral. But here's something you've probably never been told clearly. That voice is not the real you. You are the one hearing the voice. You're the awareness, not the noise. And I'm not saying that in some vague spiritual way. I'm saying it because if you can observe it, then it can't be you. Think about how many times that voice has told you, you're not good enough. They're going to leave. It's too late for you. You'll never be happy unless everything's perfect. Now ask yourself, did believing those thoughts ever make your life better? Probably not. It just made you overthink, shut down, question yourself, hold back. You missed out on moments because you were too busy preparing for ones that never came. And maybe that's what you need to hear right now. You've already survived everything life has thrown at you, but you're still letting your mind act like danger is everywhere. You worry about being judged, but most people are too busy worrying about themselves. You worry about failing, but you forget that failure is how every single person who ever succeeded actually started. You worry about losing what you love, but in that worry, you're not even present with it. You're holding it so tightly it can't breathe. That's not love. That's fear in disguise. So let me ask you something, and I want you to answer it honestly in your own mind. How much of your day is spent in actual presence? And how much is spent playing out imaginary futures you're trying to survive in advance? You don't have to live like that. You don't have to stay in your head all the time just because it feels familiar. You were never supposed to carry this much. You were never meant to be your own enemy. Worry feels real because it lives in your voice. But you get to choose if you let it drive. And maybe for the first time in a long time, you can let that voice say whatever it wants. And just not answer. Because when you don't engage with it, you take your power back. That's not a mindset shift. That's coming home to yourself. You know who really understood this? Viktor Frankl. He wasn't trying to go viral or sell you a trick. He was a man living inside the unimaginable. Auschwitz. A man who watched people lose everything, their names, their families, their futures, and somehow, inside all of that darkness, he found light. He found clarity. He said, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." And you might not be in a prison camp, but your mind might feel like one. You might feel like you're constantly battling thoughts that never shut up. Like you're stuck in your head and there's no key to get out. Like you're tired of being scared, but you don't know how to live any other way. Frankl's answer was simple. Not easy, but simple. You don't control what happens to you. You control how you meet it. He watched people who gave up and people who didn't. And what separated them wasn't strength. It was presence. It was purpose. It was the ability to hear the screaming voice in their head and not follow it. That's what you're doing right now. You're learning how to stop giving power to the part of you that was never built to lead. And here's what happens when you stop obeying that voice. You stop rushing your healing. You stop assuming your worth is tied to productivity. You stop believing that safety only comes from control. And slowly, the volume inside your mind goes down. That's what Frankl discovered. That you don't need your circumstances to be perfect to feel peace. You just need to remember that you're not your circumstances. You're not the voice trying to protect you with fear. You are the presence underneath all of it. And the moment you really believe that, worry loses its grip. Not because you finally fixed it, but because you stopped feeding it. That's when you're free. Even if nothing outside has changed, you have. And in that shift, everything else starts to move with you. Viktor Frankl, a man stripped of everything, thrown into the coldest, darkest corners of the world, not metaphorically but literally. No rights, no control, no explanation, just waiting, uncertainty, fear. And yet, he found something most people never find even in the comfort of their normal lives. He wasn't saying, be happy about suffering. He wasn't saying, just stay positive. He was saying, you can't always change what happens to you, but you can always choose what it means to you. And in that meaning, there's power. In that meaning, there's peace. You see, Frankl noticed something inside the camps, something most of us miss in everyday life, that two people could be in the exact same situation, one completely broken by it, and the other somehow still alive inside. Not because their circumstances were better, but because their response was different. And what separated them? One gave all their energy to fear, to the unknown, to the imagination, to the story their mind told them about how hopeless it all was. The other stayed present, not because they weren't afraid, but because they didn't let fear drive. Now look at your own life. How many times have you let your mind write the worst possible script? Before anything even happened? How often have you suffered, not from reality, but from your thoughts about what might happen, what they might think, what you might lose? How many beautiful moments have slipped by because you weren't really in them? You were too deep in your head, preparing for pain that never came. That's what Frankl is teaching us. That worry is not just an emotion, it's a decision, even if we don't realize we're making it. It's the decision to place your attention on what might go wrong instead of what's actually happening. And I know that can sound harsh, especially if you've lived your whole life with anxiety. But this isn't blame, this is permission. Permission to stop living like you're stuck. Permission to stop believing that just because your mind offers a thought, you have to follow it. You don't. You can pause, you can observe, you can choose again. Because here's the wild part, the voice in your head that makes you worry. It's not even trying to hurt you. It's trying to protect you. It's just doing it in the only way it knows, by anticipating danger. But Frankl proved something that breaks that entire system. You can still be safe without being afraid. You can still be present without needing to be in control. You can still be whole, even when everything around you feels uncertain. Because freedom, real freedom, is not what's happening around you. It's what's happening inside you. And the moment you stop handing your peace over to imagined futures, you get to come back to now. That's what Frankl did. That's what the prisoner in the cell did.